You're watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
Okay, we're back, and our guest is Thomas Shaheen, who's director of North Carolina State Lottery. We're talking about how it's working. Now, in addition to the outlets that sell tickets, you have lottery offices. Is that by districts? How is that?
We tried to
organized?
place offices around the state where we could keep players who have to claim prizes, keep their drive to about 2.5 hours.
So those are claim offices?
Yes, they're basically, and except for Wilmington, we have sales staff that work out of those offices. In Charlotte, it's a claim office, and we have about 16, 17 sales reps. Raleigh has sales reps. Greensboro and Greenville. We put a claim center in Wilmington, but the sales reps who cover this area actually work out of the Raleigh.
Now, when you say sales reps, you mean these are people that try to find new outlets for ticket sales?
That's part of it, and the other part is servicing the existing retailers that we have and helping them.
Delivering product and
delivering
that kind of
product, promoting sales, and then also they do recruit new retailers.
And how many of those offices do you have around the state?
Let's see, Charlotte, Asheville, Greensboro, Greenville, and Raleigh. Those are all with sales staff, and then we have the Wilmington Claim Center, which is over here on Market Street.
Is that a busy place?
Yes.
How are the people that run those offices hired, or are they appointed? How is
Everybody was hired. Everything was was an application and an interview process.
And are they state employees?
Yes,
They
they
are.
are all state employees.
How many employees would you say the North Carolina Lottery has statewide?
220.
You know that pretty.
Yes, I know. That number is pretty much fixed in my head. We could use a little bit more, but I don't think the timing's right now. So we have 220. We're operating a little bit thin, but we're still functioning fairly well.
How has the economic meltdown affected lottery ticket sales?
Well, it's had a strange effect on us. Last February, we started raising instant ticket prize payouts, okay?
Those are the scratch-offs?
Scratch-off
Yeah.
tickets, because we were much lower than the surrounding states.
In prize money?
In paying out to the winners, yes. And you buy a scratch-off ticket and how many tickets are winners, we were lacking behind some of the other states. So we had started to see a steady increase in sales last February, and it was growing and growing and growing, and then the economy kind of tanked.
Yeah.
And it started to level off. And so for the first 7 months of this year, we were seeing big increases in instant sales over the previous year because of the differentiation in prize payout. Now, February is the first month where they're comparing apples to apples and we're even. And we're seeing that our sales for February are going to be just about dead even for last February. So the effect of the economy is having is now as our growth is not happening like we anticipated. We started to see some leveling in February.
Is that accountable to the economic environment?
Yes, I think so. I mean, we see, for instance, I think a good gauge of how the lottery is affected by the economy is Powerball. That's the big one, 173 million right now. And we are not seeing large increases over the previous time when it was at that level, okay? So that
when you say increase, we're talking about more
sales,
tickets sold.
more tickets being
Right.
sold. So we're seeing a slight increase. So that's your real gauge, because that's the big, that's the big one. That's the one people
It's the
play
mother
for.
lode.
That's the one you think if the economy is in bad shape, that's what they're going to go after. And we are seeing an increase, but it is very, very small. So I don't know that the economy is affecting us other than it's restricting our growth right now.
Are you in touch with other lottery organizations in other states, and are they seeing the same?
About half the lotteries around the state are seeing a decline, and the other half are seeing an increase. The increases primarily are in the newer lotteries. It's the older ones that are struggling because they haven't, the glamour and the glory is kind of wore off for a lottery that was started in 1970, and so through this time they're starting to struggle. But most of the newer ones, if you look in the South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia's still going very strong. And
well, is it an issue of creating excitement with new games to
Yes.
keep
Yes.
the interest up?
Especially with the instant scratch-off tickets, players have a tendency to get bored with those relatively quickly. So you have to constantly be refreshing the tickets, bringing new games out. We bring out right now about 3 new games every 4 weeks. And then we will go back and look at our inventory, and then we will pull some of the older ones out. So you keep the product fresh and exciting.
Powerball is a multi-state
Yes.
game. What states do we share that with?
Oh my goodness, that's a big group. It's 32.
Oh, it is?
Yes, and recently Florida just joined us in January. We also have Washington, D.C., and we also have the Virgin Islands. And so...
Has there ever been a North Carolina winner for
Yes,
for
we
that?
have. We had a winner of $74.9 million.
74.9 mil.
Yeah, she was out of Halifax County, and she took about 2 months to come in and claim her prize.
Really?
Yes, and...
What happened? How did that, do you
I
know?
think that she was just taking her time, and you know, it's a lot of money, and I think she was trying to make sure that she had everything organized.
Do you go with a big on-camera check and
We did.
that type of thing?
We did, except the glamour wore off after
After
2
two-
months. We were hoping she was going to come in the first week.
But you knew who it was.
Yeah, we knew, well, no, she didn't. We didn't know who it was right away.
How long do you give for them to come
They have
in?
180 days to
I see.
claim, and so we didn't know who it was right away. But we'd have preferred the first week.
In general, have sales lived up to expectation?
Depends on whose expectation
Okay.
you're looking at. If you look at it from my standpoint, with 21 years in the lottery business and being at Florida, Texas, Georgia, New Mexico, very, very successful lotteries, we are absolutely on par with them. You know, achieving $3 billion in sales in less than 3 years and achieving a return to education of over $1 billion in 3 years is just remarkable. And it takes a lot of effort, but at the end of the day, it's up to the citizens of the state. Either they're going to buy the tickets or they're not. You know, we can put them out there, we can promote them, and we have some pretty strict guidelines on how we promote, which makes it even more difficult for us. But I would, you know, to be one of 5 states to hit $3 billion in sales in less
under
than 3
3
years, I says is remarkable.
Okay, we're going to take another break. We'll come back, find out how the money is spent, where it goes, when we continue with Tom Shaheen, who's director of the North Carolina State Lottery Commission. Once again, if you'd like to go to the lottery website, go to WILM-TV.com and click on the North Carolina State Lottery for Education. We'll be right back.